Yeah, welcome to Development of Science Teaching Materials. I am Nihad Goni, your course facilitator, and this is Unit 1, Session 4. In this session, we'll be looking at the advantages and limitations of chalkboard and whiteboard. By the end of this session, you should be able to state the advantages of the chalkboard and whiteboard and two limitations each for the chalkboard and whiteboard. Let us look at the advantages of a chalkboard or whiteboard. They are very convenient teaching aids for group teaching. This is because it allows the teacher to display information to a group of people at a time. The teacher does not need to repeat the same information over and over again. It affords a group learners to easily view information that the teacher wishes to transmit. Also, chalkboards and whiteboards are quite economical and can be used over and over again. You just need a duster to erase the information on the board and reuse it. And chalkboards and whiteboards are made from simple material, boards and paint. That is why it is quite economical. The third advantage of chalkboard and whiteboard is that they are followed by the appropriate actions on the part of the teacher. The teacher has upper hand over what the board will display. What the board will display is entirely dependent on the teacher. Also, the chalkboard or the whiteboard is a good visual aid for drills and revision. Whenever a teacher wishes to use drills for assessment and to keep students' revision intact, you can choose the chalkboard on the whiteboard. It is very convenient for that. Another important advantage of chalkboard and the whiteboard is that it can help you to enlarge illustrations that you are seeing in your textbooks. So as you draw on the board, you draw an image that is an enlarged form of what you have probably in your textbook so that all students can view them. Chalkboard and whiteboards too are convenient aids for giving lesson notes to students. It is quite better than dictating notes to allow for correct spelling and for students not to write the notes in a different way you want it to seem. Normally use the chalkboard or the marker board or the whiteboard. Write the notes on the board. It is quite easier for students to copy them. Even though the chalkboard and whiteboard have those advantages which we discussed in our last slide, they are not without limitations. Let's look at a few of them. First, the chalkboard. It makes students overly dependent on the teacher because the teacher uses the chalkboard to send information to the student. Without the teacher using the board, the students might not even put down any kind of information. They are totally dependent on the teacher information that he sends through the blackboard or the chalkboard. Also, the lesson becomes more teacher-centered. Teacher-centered method of teaching place more emphasis on the teacher, where the students are mostly listeners, and the teacher will do all the talking. This is a disadvantage to the lesson because education policymakers are trying hard to change teacher-centered education to learner-centered education, which have been seen to have a lot of better advantages over teacher-centeredness. Another limitation is that it makes the lesson dull and of a routine nature. The teacher writes on the board, explains and claims, writes, explains and claims, sometimes skipping a few questions. And so this kind of routine is what is normally followed using a chalkboard. So mostly the lessons become dull. Chalkboard does not give attention to the individual needs of the student. It treats the whole student as one group without taking into consideration the individual needs of each learner. Also, constantly using the chalkboard makes its surface smooth and it starts glaring. And when a board starts glaring, what happens is that it makes it difficult to view the information on the board. Also, the use of the chalk powder when using the chalkboard may be inhaled by teacher and student, and it might be detrimental to their health. Now let's look at the limitations of the whiteboard. Whiteboards become dirty over time if they are occasionally not washed with soap solution. Because they are white, they are more prone to being dirty. And if they are not regularly washed with soap solution, it becomes quite dirty over time. Also, depending on the material that is used for the whiteboard, they sometimes develop cracks, which makes it difficult to be written on. A few questions for you to try your hands on. State 4 advantages of the chalkboard or the whiteboard. And state 2 limitations each of the chalkboard and whiteboard. We have come to the end of this session. In this session, we learned about the advantages of the chalkboard and the whiteboard to class delivery and the limitations of the chalkboard and the whiteboard. And so, as a teacher, whenever you are choosing the display board to use in your classroom, consider these advantages as well as their limitations and make a choice for your betterment.